Okie dokie. So Haezer Siman Hatzvi-Bais, Siman 22, chapter 20, chapter section, whatever you want to call it. Or whatever they call it. They have in the legal things they quote something subsection this and that and 1.3 point was. Anyhow, so 22, the Isur Yichud, the prohibition of being, how do you call it, yichud, being alone with somebody. In me osilis yachid, and with who it is prohibited to be alone with. This we're talking about the prohibitions of loneliness, no, of aloneliness. Aleph. Also, lisyachid im erva meharais. It is prohibited to be alone with any one of the ervis from the arayis, from any of the prohibited relationships. So any one of them, you're not allowed to be alone with them. Bain is a kena, bain yalda, whether it's an old lady, right? Some people, it's an old lady. What's the problem? Bain yalda, or that's a little girl. What's the problem? Nope. Shedavar is a gerim legali serva, because this thing causes one to well, what's a good English term for legali serva? It means it causes them to have a prohibited relationship, basically. But really, it means to reveal the erva out. He said literally it means to reveal the naughty places or something like this.
Yeah.
But it means it would cause it could lead to having an inappropriate relationship. Chutz, besides, for what are the exceptions to this rule of people that you're not allowed to have a relationship with, but that you're allowed to be alone with? Ha'im im binah, a mother with her son. Ha'av im bitei, a father and his daughter. V'habal im ishtei nida, a husband with his wife who is in a prohibited part of the menstrual cycle, right? So even though she is prohibited to him, not just she's prohibited to him, she is prohibited to him biblically. But still he can be alone with her. V'chasen shepiris le'ishtei nida kedim sheyivel. However, a groom that his wife became that she started her menstrual cycle, right? Meaning after they got married, but they did not consummate the marriage yet. He should not be alone with her. Rather, what? But rather, she sleeps with the women, he sleeps with the men. And by the way, this is actually a very nowadays it's like, what are you talking about? So you put them in two bedrooms, let's say, right? He sleeps in his bed, and his bedroom sleeps in her bed, or whatever it is.
Sneak down the hall,
right? But back then there was the whole house could be only one room. And with a mechitza maybe, or especially or maybe or a few rooms, but you had, it wasn't it wasn't like today where if two kids have to share a room they complain. Back then, if only two kids in a room, they were wealthy people. That was like a mansion. Yeah.
Well, I would also say I was just thinking, two things out of my head was, one is that there should be shmira. Just because two only people you put in two different rooms in the basement, but come on, they like each other, they're attracted to each other, or whatever.
Right. So it's a worse problem, yeah.
So with someone, if they're sleeping in another room with someone, which actually I think in Shulchan Aruch I remember seeing, well, like a single guy shouldn't really sleep on his own, shouldn't have his own apartment.
Right, without a roommate, in other words.
To have, yeah, you should have a roommate. You'd have some sort of shmira.
And the same thing, like they have this is whenever shluchim are sent out, or still now,
right, in pairs,
either a couple,
either a couple
goes on shlichus, or two bachim or more,
even just mitzrayim in the afternoon, two at a time, because you never know what's.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing it reminded me of, the wording reminded me of this.
Because positive peer pressure is important.
It is. It's
Just
very
like
good thing.
brainwash, all the things that nowadays in America, don't fall to peer pressure, don't get brainwashed. It's the other way around by us. Have good peer pressure. Make sure you brainwash them good instead of getting so they don't get
Brainwashed in the
brainwashed by
right
somebody else.
in
Yeah,
the right direction. Yeah.
yeah.
The other thing it reminded me of is and I forget who it is. The story with Baal Shem Tov and his wife. That it was a couple who didn't have any kids, but they were very big in Achnas Tzarchim. And the Baal Shem Tov and his wife came and they were incognito, and they didn't want to show the ksuba because they didn't want to show who they were.
I mean, these people required if you're gonna
And so it
sleep
was a
in the
whole
same
thing.
room,
Yeah,
we need to see a
they had
ksuba.
a men's ward, a men's wing, a women's wing, and then the married couple rooms. And so they had them separate, and they split them up because they wouldn't provide a ksuba. That was their rule. If you can't provide a kosher ksuba, then you're sleeping separate. And then there's the whole thing is Friday night. The guy thought there was a fire, and he goes running to the men's ward, and he speaks to them, and he sees he's learning with like Eliyahu Navi or whoever it was, whatever Malach, and
One of those dudes.
yeah, I don't remember who it was. Probably Google it. But the
Well,
whole thing was that then they
I believe
apologized,
Baal
they gave him
Shem
a
Tov
bracha.
Baal Shem Tov used to learn with Achiyah Shleini.
No, but I remember, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. In this specific case, it was a whole thing that then they ended up giving him a bracha, and they had one of their children was one of the big Rebbe.
Right. So anyway, so in such a case, if these people they did not consummate the marriage, right? When they come to this in this story with the Baal Shem Tov, they would go taket. He would go to the men's room, and she would go to the women's room. However, if they consummated the marriage, right? They had the first relationships one time, right? Then she became impure, which, by the way, in most marriages today, probably back then also, such is the case, unless it's a second marriage or whatever it is, right? Because generally speaking, after the Biyah Rishayim, she's going to be she's going to be automatically tummy, right? Because a virgin who has Biyah Rishayim becomes tummy.
Right.
So it's not like, so we're not talking about an obscure situation. That's he's saying vit because lavdafke, it could be a second marriage for one or both of them. Well, it would have to do for the one of them because it only goes by the woman. But let's say it's her second marriage. She's not a virgin, so it's not. So then she doesn't become tummy she doesn't become impure after the first intercourse. So in that case, mutilis yachadima. Once they've had intercourse one time, right? The chassan, then he's no longer needs to be separated from her, even when she's anida, like we said before, right? That a husband and his wife is allowed to be even when she's during impure times. He's allowed to be with her. So besides for what? Besides for the case of the chassan who they haven't consummated the marriage yet, and then she becomes tummy. Okay, so that was Siman Aleph inside. Now we go to the Chelkas Mechikik. Chutz me'emin b'nov avim b'itay. Besides for the mother with her son and the father with his daughter. Kvar kasavti b'simin shelifnei. I already wrote in the simin before this, the section before this. B'sif cotton test. The Gemara B'Kedushin, that in the Gemara Kedushin, Amar Rav Asi says, the im elu hetiru afilu dira b'kaviyas. That with these people, not just meaning because sometimes with yichud there's a not to put the cart before the horse, but for example, there's certain things like if a brother goes to stay at his sister's house, right? It's fine, it's allowed, but it's not supposed to be on a what do you call it? Like on a permanent basis for visits, whatever it's on. So in either
For a
case,
one-off or whatever.
yeah, or whatever. I mean, it's meaning it should be perfect. Well, there's a whole kavitz on Hilchos Yichud. I think it's by Rabbi Dubov. And he goes there into the more in detail with footnotes and what's and I believe he covers there what's considered what does it mean temporary and what does it mean, but that's not for this sif right now. But in either case, so over there it says, however, like a mother with a son and a father with a daughter, that even on a permanent basis, it's no problem. Here, I should have just read the Chalkes Mechekek, huh? And with his sister, a person with a sister, you're allowed only temporary being alone, meaning not on a permanent basis to living there. Because of the Rasham, and the Rosh writes there, the halacha Rav Asi, that the halacha is like Rav Asi. Mikol makim hamachmir tovi olav bracha. He who is stringent on this will come upon him the blessings. And also in the summarized rulings of the Rosh, it's also written there like this. But he doesn't say at this point. Maybe if Hashem will have time to go over it again with the Ehven Brewer. That seems like something probably the Ehven Brewer will cover, is what means temporary and what means not, and what the final sort of thing we do today is. Beis Shmuel, Osir is Yachid, you're not allowed to be alone. B'shas nilmad mikra, in the Gemara, it learns from the pasuk, from the Bible, from the Old Testament. Ki yasischa achicha ben imecha. What's the what do you call it? This is where in, let's look this up. This is in Devarim 13. We'll get the full context over here. Short Rashi, yes. And let's look at. Okay, so the Kollel it's talking about. Right, this is from. Here's all the things you should do. Don't add. Don't. What's it called? If a prophet comes up, a false prophet comes up amongst you, right, go after Hashem and or a dreamer. Then it goes on to in 7, pasuk 7, right? Zayin. Ki yesischa achicha ben imecha. Right, if your brother, the son of your mother, will tempt you. So if you look at the tempts you in secret, it says here. So we look at the Rashi, says ein hasasa ella geroi. The term hasasa always denotes inciting. Im Hashem siska bi, like it says, if Hashem incited you against me, right, in Shmuel. That inciting meaning ancestra belaz. Interesting, because ancestra almost has the same a similar shemasir lases came, that he's tempts him to do this. Okay, so now it's talking about who? About the brother who is from the mother's side. I bitcha, I bincha, I bitcha, your daughter, the son, I eishes chekecha, the wife of your embrace, meaning Hashicheches b'chikecha, u'machutim b'cha, abkida b'laz, um, the one is so the one that's attached to you. Avkida means like a fishida, like aficionado, like an aficionado, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
What do they call the wine person?
yeah, an aficionado or an aficionado or something. Saying I think
Yeah,
aficionado.
not a connoisseur, but
No, that's a connoisseur. An aficionado is more like a cigar aficionado or something. Say, I think it's a similar thing.
yeah. Sommelier is what I'm thinking of. That's
Yeah.
specifically a wine steward, like
Oh,
a
a similar.
wine.
No, that's different than a connoisseur. A sommelier is actually like it's the difference between somebody who enjoys learning halacha or somebody who can
Trained.
paskin
Oh, so you're
halacha.
saying
A
a
sommelier
connoisseur is someone who
is like
could be just someone with a passion for it.
right.
Sommelier
A
is someone who's
sommelier
actually been
actually
trained,
has to
professionally
be
trained.
is actually like I think it's like a degree actually that
I
you're
think
it's not
connoisseur.
wine making, but it means that you're you've gone through the like the chef school courses for tasting and presenting and pairing wines and things like this.
I mean, I think a connoisseur still denotes expertise, but you're right in the sense that I think sommelier is more officially trained versus connoisseur doesn't have to be trained. It could just be somebody who they read a lot on the internet.
Yeah.
Like you have those friends who they know a lot about a certain subject, but they were never officially trained. They never certified as such. Okay, interesting. So aficionado, yeah, okay.
Um. Anyway, so it says it learns out "Yisischa achicha ben imecha," if your brother, the son of your mother, will tempt you v'chi ben aim mesis, and does the son of a mother is the tempt is would try to tempt you and not the son of the father. Let me just see it. I don't. It's talking about it's what it's actually talking about. The context is because what does it have to do with a Navi Sheker, right? It's talking about different things like that. It's actually talking about if your brother, the son of your mother, or your son or your daughter or whatever it is, if they'll tempt you to serve idols, right? And they'll say, let's go serve other gods that you and your fathers didn't know, right? And it's talking about, I mean, like right? You should not desire him. Don't listen to him. You should also not pity him. Don't have mercy on him or shield him, right? Like meaning that it's talking about the idea that even your brother or whatever, if it's in front of a, don't try to come up with excuses why he did this. That you have to right when it's somebody who's trying to tempt people to serve idols. In either case, he's using it's focuses the Gemara focuses on the wording. Why ben imcha? Why right? He says if the son of your mother or your son of your daughter. Why the son of your mother? Why not the son of your father? What only the son of your mother could try to tempt you to serve idols, but the son of your father and not. Elorem is ben misyachadim imei. But rather it's a hint of a son being alone with his mother. I'm not sure on that wording because that's actually not an Isser Yichud. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
But maybe in this case it means like like a stepson or something like this. I don't know. I have to look into that. But Taisus better come in the Shabbos and Taisus in the first parak of Shabbos. Kasvu Yichud mid Eiraisa Aser. So according to Taisus in Gemara Shabbos, Yichud, right, being alone with one of the arayis, with one of the prohibited relations, is a biblical prohibition. Because it's a question, just because you learn out of a pasuk, it doesn't always mean it's biblical, right? Is what's it called? Nasmachta, right? That it's a rabbinical thing, but there's a pasuk that hints at it. But in this case, according to the Taisvis, it's an actual biblical prohibition. V'chein kosav haTur, and so too the Tur writes. So the Tur agrees with this. The Rambam, on the other hand, the Maimonides says kosav isur yichud min hakabola. He says no, it is from, well, Kabbalah means like passed down, but in this case, meaning it's biblical, it's rabbinical, not to be confused with Kuabala, learning of mysticism, which is also called that Kabbalah for the same reason, because it's the mysticism was also passed down generation to generation. But in this case, meaning when he says it's from Kabbalah, it means it's a rabbinical prohibition, not a bit. The Eine El Remez Min HaTorah, that it's just a hint from the Torah, but it's not an actual halacha in the Torah, according to the Rambam. L'chein ein malkin oisei ela makas mardus. Therefore, he only gets makas mardus. He gets like the lashes of a rebellious person, right? Which we know makas mardus was something that the Beis Din could. What's the word? They could mete out. Mete. See, we're getting fancier. We're getting better and better on the show. These YouTube political pundits have nothing on us. The Beis Din would mete out the punishment as opposed to regular malchus, right, which was the regular the 40 lashes that was given from the Torah, right, where the Torah says that for certain things you get lashes, but there's things that are not from the Torah where you get lashes from the Beis Din, and that's called makas mardus. It means like a rebellious person's lashes. Ubichlal arayis nichlal chayove lavin. And included in the arayis is also these the what do you call it, the obligations for this for all the other no-nos. V'chein kos v'prisha, and so to the prisha writes v'shas mavur, and then the Gemara explains that of Asi Amar, like he's bringing now the same thing as the Chalkas Mechekik did. Mutar l'syachdim achesa, a person is allowed to be alone with his sister. L'fi temporarily. V'darim imay b'kiviyas, but he can live with his mother permanently, regularly. V'chasav harash, and the Rosh writes ta'aloch karavasi. V'eini yedeya loma harambam v'atur ishmitei, and he doesn't know why the Rambam and the Tur left out this Rosh. V'evshir, or well, I don't know if they left out the whole thing, or if they, I guess they, what's it called? They left out the taloch kiravasi. If Evshir is really, and it's possible that maybe they hold the afal gav taloch kiravasi, not that they disagree with the Rosh and hold that the halach is not like kiravasi, therefore they left that out. But maybe even though maybe they take a hold that the ruling is like Ravasi, in that which he had an argument with Shmuel, what he argued with Shmuel. Aval masha haisif alamas nisin leis aloche kavasi ki mas nisin leitone el yichudim imei. But I guess we'll have to look up what the it looks like the argument in the Gemara. Let's see. I think we have to look at this Gemara. Kedushin 80b. I think we're gonna have to
Kedushin
look at
83A or B?
B. I think we're gonna have to look at the Gemara a second here. see what the
83B?
80, 80.
Oh, 80, because I was gonna say there's no 83. Ends
Yeah.
at Pei-Beis and Beis.
That's what it looks like anyway. And that's what it says in here.
Sorry, what wording am I looking for?
Masnisin loylis yachid odem im shtei noshim. Aval isha achas misachedis im shtei noshim. It's the part, but that's the masnisin. So it starts off, the mission over there is that a person should not be alone, right? A man should not be alone with two women, but a woman can be alone with two men. Which, by the way, this is just a Mishnah, but lahalacha, there's certain times where even two men is not enough. For example, at night, because one might go to sleep, something like this, different things like this. Rabbi Shimon says, "Af ish echad misyach l'mishtei noshim bizman she'ishta imay." So he says, so Rabbi Shimon says that a man could be with two women if his wife is with him. V'yoshin imahem bepundiki.
They can sleep in an inn.
Yeah, they can sleep in an inn. Why? Because his wife guards him. She watches him. Meaning he's not gonna like in general we said, like when what's the whole point why two men could be with one? Because the other man is
watching it,
right, and even that's why the halacha is if the other man is known, or if either of them is, if the other guy is known to be a loose person, then that doesn't help either, because how's he gonna eat? What he's gonna watch you? Right. A person can be alone with his mother and his daughter. And he can be close to them. He can be sleeping in the same bed with bodily contact. However, once they are bigger, they live there, which I guess means over.
They've grown up when they're adult, when they're over puberty, probably.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying grown up doesn't mean they're 20. It means like past puberty.
Yeah. Right. Well, the Gemara probably goes into it.
Then they can still sleep in the same bed, but they have to be covered. Yeah, they have to have with garments. So that's the Mishnah. And the Gemara, it says, what's that Tand Velio? Right, the school of Elio, because women are more easily seduced. I don't know that to be the case these days.
I don't know. There's a whole.
I think a woman now, generally speaking, you would think a woman would seduce a man a lot easier than vice versa.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very interesting sugya. There's a whole story with. Yeah. I think. I don't know if it's here or elsewhere, but with Brura, that's the whole downfall. And it was the whole thing where when they taught this, I remember correctly, it was her who said, like, basically it wouldn't happen to me, or like she had issue with it or something. And so it was something along the lines of where basically one of the rabbis told his son, excuse me, not his son, his student, told his student, okay, go test her. Go seduce my wife.
Right.
And he was able to.
Right.
And so it was a whole, it ended in disaster. In tragedy.
Yeah, that usually would end in disaster.
Dark. Well, very dark and difficult story.
Yeah.
But I think the concept of Dyson Colin, I remember someone once explained, they said, yeah, let's for negative, it's also the Malyusa. They're easier to be appeased than to forgive, and it's the rachamim, it's the mercy, which is also one of the problems. There's issues with women being a dayan,
Well,
because they'll empathize more.
It's not a an insult. It's a characteristic, and
The
it's
nurturing nature.
and it's a fact. This is one of the things that in the world today, people like to look at how they want things to be, which the part of the reason it's a form of essentially idol worship is because it's how you what do you mean how you want it to be. The Abishter wants it to be a certain way, what you want it to be.
And deny
But
that,
but
right?
the thing is, it's also it's a characteristic. For example, why women make better mothers, and they can keep a house in the way and raise kids in a certain way. And for example, they can focus on multiple things at one time. So a man, right? Why is he more suited for a dayan? Because he can focus on the thing and on this thing at hand, and
Tunnel vision.
right. Okay. At the same time, tunnel vision isn't. It's like it's great. You can focus on the road, but the deer's coming from here. It's not always a good thing. It depends on what, and it's why, for example, when you look even now, you look in communities or whatever, right? And you have very oftentimes that you have men who are dealing in study and whatever it is, but a lot of the times the gemilas chasadim, right? The whatever it is, whether it's the loans, raising money for chas and kala, raising for families for Yom Tov is very very often this is women lead this effort
Right,
because they're more capable of juggling such a thing.
Empathetic, nurturing nature. It's interesting because I think that's one of the things when someone goes to become a Rav, they have to learn to get in touch with their feminine side, to be empathetic, to have that mindset of nurturing and empathy. Because just the Talmud Chacham will say kosher, usser, but it's the Rav, it's the empathetic feminine side that
Yeah.
goes, and here's the money for all your food and wine for Yom
Right,
Tov.
right,
Like,
right. Who realizes that the person asking him that while the answer may be in the book, the person asking him the question is not in the book.
and they have a
Right.
need, and that's the positive of it. But the mice, I think here was saying, so this diet and kalan, so that means also that they're gonna it's easier for them to empathize with someone who's coming to even to do something negative.
Right.
They'll empathize with them and feel with them and feel for them, etc. And so it's easier. Um, yeah, but definitely could be in today's day and age, as they call it, problematic language. It can be difficult to understand and difficult to. But I think there's
Well,
no
it's also
recognition.
it's also a lot of it is that there's sometimes an attempt to force Jewish thinking to somehow fit say American culture, for example. But why
Changing
why should
culture.
it what I'm saying why should it fit American culture any more than it should fit Zimbabwean culture? So if you're in Zimbabwe I don't know anything about Zimbabwe, by the way. I'm just using the name and creating a fictional scenario of how Zimbabwe is, and uh, and uh, um, 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 and let's just say over there it's normal that they consider women idiots, and a man has an obligation to beat his wife. So now what? So now if I'm there, I should try to bend my to bend Jewish thought to that.
I guess the
So it's
fifth
the
is
same
right.
thing.
No,
But here
I
in the
think
U.S. there's a lot
so. That's what I
there's
was
a
going to
lot of
bring up.
push to assimilate ideas, but
Right.
these
Today's day
ideas
and age,
these ideas are truth, and they've been truth for thousands of years. They've been given to
right?
Moses at Sinai, and they're the truth. What can I tell
Right.
you?
Well, it's something I wanted to say was to clarify. It doesn't mean the Bechal. That means women are never be
Right.
trusted because their brains are untrustworthy. That's
No, no,
totally not
100%,
true. They're
100%.
trusted with kashas and with even when there are things that they're negaya
Right,
b'davar. When it comes to taras
right,
mishpacha, when a woman says X, Y, and Z, you believe her.
right.
And we were talking a lot about that with your goodness and when do we believe, when do we not believe? We're just talking about human nature and when things tend
Yeah.
to lean in a certain way. It doesn't mean unequivocally women can't be trusted and they shouldn't go to school past the age of 12 years old, like in certain countries today.
Right.
And like
Well, and if
that's not chas v'shalom what we're saying.
there's another angle that you can bring on this also. For example, um, there's the fact that women are more agreeable than men. It's a fact on average, anyways. Um,
That's what I'm saying.
Some
Because of the ability to emphasize and understand.
some men you ask may not think their wife is so agreeable, but but in general they're more agreeable. That's why, for example, two women together, right? Whereas men are less agreeable, what you could also call they're more competitive.
Right, more competitive, more
Okay,
stubborn.
so two men together may challenge each other more easily than a woman will challenge another. Because why? Because men are on average more confrontational.
Right, and women, it's easier for them to work together.
Right. So
Which again, that's not
a
on your
bad.
side.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
Here, when it comes to yichud,
Well,
it's something that works
in this
against.
particular case, it's that yeah, it's a drawback of sorts.
It's something we have to be aware of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so the Gemara continues.
No, honey, me.
No, Hanimili. So where do you know this from? Amar Rabbi Yechon Mishon Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yechon says in the name of Rabbi Yishmael, Remez leyichud min atayra minayin. A hint to yichud to being
The illusion from the
seclusion,
written
I
Torah.
guess. I like using being alone together. But yeah, I guess seclusion works too. Right, because that's the whole thing. You're secluded from other people. Fine. Where is this from? Where this is hinted from in the Torah? Where minayin? Where shenema? Because it says ki yesischa achicha ben imecha. When which that's the pasuk we just spoke about. If somebody's trying to tempt you to be an idol worshiper, if the brother, the son of your mother, will try to entice you, he ben ein mesis, ben of ein mesis. Wait a second, it's only the son of a mother who can entice you. The son of your father is incapable of trying to entice you to avodah zarah. Elo, but rather this is to tell you ben misyachedim imei, that it tells you that a son is allowed to be secluded with his mother, but also but he is not allowed to be with all of the he's not allowed to be secluded with all of the other relationships that are forbidden in the Torah. Okay, so let me just see where that's the main part. Then I don't think we need this part for this. The next part we need to find the part that then talks about the sister. So that's further down. First, you're talking about when somebody is in Einin. Where's the part with this? Okay, then he talks about when there's more than 10. When there's two men, you can be secluded with them, but that's only if they're kshedim, right? If they're proper men, but if they're inappropriate type of people, then no. I don't see the part with the what do you call it? Talking about that, he's talking about to get Malchus. Oh, maybe that's his point. Maybe that's his point. But where's the thing of Rabasi though?
It's further down.
It's that's on 81b. So in other words, the Matamakim that he has here is he's talking about he's giving the Matamakim for the Mishnah, for the original Mishnah. The actual thing, if you go to 81b,
Going down. Yeah, I'm at
right,
81b.
which is part of this. It's part of the discussion of the Gemara on the same Mishnah.
Right. Still part of the same sugya.
Um,
Or down. Okay, so I'm Rabbi Yehuda, I'm Ravasi. Man may be secluded with his sister, Vidar im imay im bim bitay, and live with his mother or his daughter, meaning dar, meaning in a permanent arrangement without concern.
Yeah, Misyachid Adam Mimei, right? So he quote first of all, Misyachid Adam Mimei, a person can be alone with his mother. He's quoting the Mishnah, or he's quoting above. Okay, then Amar Rabbi Yehuda, go. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Abasi.
I mean, yeah, Misyachid adam amachaysei, Vidar im imay bim bitay. So he could have yichud with his sister, but he could live long term with his mother and with his daughter. So Riyas whatever Kamei Shmuel, when he said this before Shmuel, Amar, so Shmuel said to him, also this afternoon Kollel Eretz Shabbatera, Bafili in Behema. Nope, not allowed to, excuse me, have yichud with anything that you're not allowed to sleep with, and any of the listed arayis, which includes an animal. Someone's not allowed to have intercourse with an animal, so they can't have yichud with it. Can't be alone with Betsy the cow.
So I guess Shmuel is excluding the sister and saying no, you can't.
Yeah, his sister,
He's
his
arguing,
father,
no, you can't.
yeah, daughter, none of them. So Tanans, we learn in the Mishnah, straight up, it says they could be together, they could be alone together, they can even sleep together with bodily contact. So it's straight up.
Right, that's a person could be what? Tanan Misyachid Adam Imay even be a person could be with his mother and his daughter,
So Shmuel would say to you. So Shmuel would have answered, it's according to your reasoning. So how are we explaining that what we talk how the time that we write? We learned in a brisa. Because to his sister, his mother-in-law, and all those who are rayes, including his mother and daughter, you can only have yichud with them and with witnesses. Meaning be'edim in shalei be'edim lai.
right,
You're not allowed to have alone yichud. So Ela Tanahe, it's rather this is not Shmuel arguing on a Mishnah. It actually is a machlekes Tanoi. The Tanya, as we learned in a Brisa, I'm gonna be mayor, Mizar Rubi B'nei Biti. Be careful with me because of my daughter, meaning make sure I'm not left alone with her.
right.
I'm gonna be Tarfin. Rabbi Tarfin says Mizar Rubi B'nei Kalasi. Careful with me because of my daughter-in-law. Le'alav I say Talmud. So legally, Allah Talmud, a certain student came, said, "You crazy? You're gonna sleep with your daughter-in-law? Come on!"
Really? What do you?
I'm Rabbi Vo, Yishum Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel. Lo hayu yam muatim ad shenichshali say Talmud b'chameisei. Not many days passed until that student stumbled into sin with his own mother-in-law. He was laughing about the concept. Like, come on, this is family. You're not gonna mess up.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, that's famous last words.
Right.
Now it reminds me again of the story.
It's actually similar to like you were saying before. This story, it's a similar type of story.
Right. Right.
This guy was like, what are you
same.
like? What you're not gonna? And then he himself fell
but
into.
It's not reminds the story. I think I
bad
said this
behavior.
before. I think it was one of the great places. I think it was Rav Zalman or someone who's when he was very old towards the end of his life. They had a live-in, like a nurse or whatever, the caretaker. The whole thing, the family stepped out for some reason. They came back and they found him, the Rav, on the porch in the freezing cold. I said, "What are you doing out here?" He said, "I wheeled myself out here." And said, "Why?" It's because I was alone with the nurse. They said, "Come on, this nurse was not winning any beauty pageants anytime soon, and you are so old you can barely walk. Like it's a miracle you even wheeled yourself out here." And he said, "The way the Yetzer Hara is, she would be the most beautiful person in the world, and I'd be, a freshly, what you call a teenager. Like I'd have the energy. That's how it works. You don't mess with that stuff. You don't go,
Right.
okay, it doesn't apply anymore. I'm so old. No. Anyway, so fine. So then
So fine. So that's I believe that's the pertinent part of
that's the part
the
because the next
Gemara.
part
That
gets into the whole animal
right,
thing, the whole animal
right,
discussion.
which and all kinds of other things, which maybe we'll end up going back and touching on later
Yeah, we're
when we
not
come to
doing
it.
that.
But basically, what he's saying here. So we spoke about. So we know that Asi said that you're allowed to be secluded with your sister temporarily and with the mother permanently, right? And he ruled. Where does he get it from? He rules like of Asi in the Gemara, right? And so the Beis Shmuel said, so why didn't the Rambam and the Tur bring down this rush? And so maybe they disagree with him. Maybe they hold like Shmuel. And he says no. It's because it's quite possible that they hold that the really the halach is like of Asi in what he argued with the Shmuel, meaning they hold that yeah, it's taka right, true, like Ravasi that you can be with your with alone with your sister, just not permanently, right? Avol masha heisif alamas nisin leiska halacha gavasi. But that which he added onto the Mishnah, it's not according to Nisim leiton eliyichud im imay, because in the Mishnah it's only talking about yichud with the mother. What's in 1 second? It seems that Shmuel holds not even with the mother.
As we said, Shmuel said straight
Right,
up, not
not
with the
even with the
mother,
mother.
not even with
So
the mother,
so
not even with
right.
the daughter,
So
nobody.
what the Rambam and the Tur hold is basically they hold that the halach is like Rav Asi that you can be with your mother, but his addition of the sister they well, so I guess they don't meaning they taka hold the halachas like Rav Asi, but they hold his Rav Asi as far as in so much as the mother is concerned, but not that which he added on to the Mishnah, which is the sister part. Whereas the Rosh holds the sister part. He holds halachas like Rav Asi in both of those things, the mother and the sister, mother permanently, sister temporarily. Okay, so that's Ace Aleph. Ace. I'm turning it into Chassidus. It's Ace Aleph. Let's see if Aleph. Okay, so now base Kisheira Maisa Amnin V'Tamar. When the thing that happened.
Right? Does everyone remember Amnon and Tamar?
It's
Basically,
Amnon
Amnon
and
is
Tamar.
half brother of Tamar, and he got
Right.
so obsessed with her that he Pasha was
Right.
physically ill to the point where he was physically ill. So David
Yeah.
gave a heter and said, "Fine, you guys could get married." And after the first night, Amnon was like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm done. Got that out of my system," and refused her, and
Right,
it caused the whole war because then,
because there was no taiva anymore since it was allowed now.
right,
There was no
yeah.
they didn't
So
have
so then, well, it was actually it wasn't just it was allowed because after he was allowed, they did sleep together once.
right,
It was just once he got it out of the system. All he wanted was a white night stand.
right, yeah,
That was it. So he refuses her, and she could marry anyone else now, and it was a whole thing. And so her brother, of course, got very upset with David, and that what started the whole rebellion,
right.
Shalom, and everything. That's one of the things that kicked it off. So yeah, it caused a bit of a disaster.
Right.
Half
Well,
similar.
similar to like the Rabbeinu Gershom edict, right?
Right.
It
Yeah. Yeah. He
wasn't
learned from experience.
mhm,
Yeah. So basically, David and the court would have done. They
yeah.
realized, okay,
So Gazar David the Beis Din, David and his court, they ruled, or they, how do you call it? That's not ruled. They like they made a,
They forbade, they enacted,
yeah, they made an yeah, they
they
enacted, what do
decreed,
you call it?
decreed,
Decreed,
they
yeah,
decreed.
there we go, decreed.
David based in a decreed.
Al Yichud Penuya, on being alone with anyone, meaning with somebody who's on, means who's available, with an available woman, which, as we know, an available woman is not one of the arayis. It's not one of the forbidden relationships in the Torah. So the original biblical prohibition is specifically against those people, the forbidden relationships, the people who you're not allowed to get married to or have relationships with. Well, you can't actually, it's not, you're not allowed to get married to, as we know, all the people besides for Ashes Ish, right? Well, even an Ashes Ish, someone married to another man, right? We know that by all those cases, Kedushin and Tafsin, right? The marriage is not does not hold. It doesn't. If you betroth or marry somebody who's one of these biblical prohibitions, it doesn't. There's no marriage. You don't need a divorce. You don't need anything. It's not a proper marriage. It doesn't take hold. Right. So the prohibition of yichud biblically is for those people specifically. However, David now added on to that, because of that whole scandal with Amnon and Tamar. So they also made a also on the decreed on that you can't be alone with an available woman or girl. The af al pisha ein erva, and even though she's not one of the arayis, bechalal yichud arayisi, it's included in the seclusion with the prohibited relationships. Meaning, even though in and of itself it's not a prohibited relationship, like that, you can marry her. If you marry her, you can be with her, no problem, right? But so it's not part of the biblical prohibition, but they added it on to be included also with the prohibition. Veshamai vehillel gazru al yichud husis, and Shammai and Hillel, they made a further enactment. They made a further decree on being alone with a non-Jewish woman, because that's also not one of the arayis.
Right.
Well, even though it is, but it's not one of those forbidden relationships that's mentioned.
Well, it's Haezer there, I said, but it's not listed in the list of arrays.
It's not part of the arayis. It's not part of
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it's Haezer, but in the Deraisa, but it's not
right,
listed
but
in
it's
that
not.
arrays.
What do you call it? But not only that, it's not of the same stringent nature. You don't get the
Meaning it's not Yared whatever.
right. You don't get the right, and not only that, it doesn't have a death penalty.
Right. Just
It's just
yeah, it's spiritual.
it's just a naughty thing to do.
Well, it's also spiritual, as we learned from Yosef. That's what Rashi brings up from Yosef and
Yeah,
Potiphar's wife, is that the Elam Haba is lost. Yeah.
100%. We're not recommending this in any way, shape, and
Right.
form. However, it's not one of the arayos that's right in the.
That's the main thing. And we're trying to tie
Yeah,
over here. We saw from that Gemara, Shmuel brought up from that Brisa, that we're tying Yichud with
with those
the
specific
Erev
arayos.
specifically, the list of
Right,
Arayos.
right. So right
And so now here we have the
David added on.
additions,
With an unmarried
even if
woman
it's not
also,
right,
a free woman, a
even if it's not an
Jewish,
Erva.
and Shammai added on also a non-Jewish woman.
So that's how we get
Right.
to now. Therefore,
Yeah. So Nimtza. So we find Kol HaMisyachid Im Isha, anybody who secludes himself with a woman. Also Lisyachid Ima, that he's not allowed to be secluded with. Ben Yisraelis Ben Kusis, whether a Jewish or a Goyishes, Makin Ishnehem, you hit both of them, right? They get Makas Mardus. They both get smacked with Makas Mardus. right? Like we said before, that's that's the lashes that's given by the out by the court. Ha'ish va'isha, both the man and the woman. Umachrizna aleihem, and you it means what do you call it? It means you announce. But I think in this case it means like you warn them, I guess.
Right.
Haga, says Rama, v'davke b'yadua shenisiyach edimah. Now, by the way, we're not talking about, just to be clear here, we're not talking about he slept with them.
It's clear.
Right? Because if it's one of the arayis and he slept with her, that's a din misa. That's a death penalty. Yeah, right. I mean, obviously there has to be witnesses and this, not the other, but or alternatively it's karis, right? You get cut off from your soul gets cut off. It's a heavy duty. Heavy duty chrep. But this is just for being secluded with them, not for having any relations. So they get lashes. It says the Rama, specifically when it is known that he was secluded with her. But she is not trusted regarding him. Meaning, if she says, "Oh, he was with me, we were together in a room," he doesn't get malchus. That's not a testimony. And even one witness is not trusted. So basically, this is in order to get this malchus mindus, you have to have two witnesses. Still, based in the the same time, even though they don't get lashes, if the Beis Din feels that there's something there, what she said or what the aide said, if they feel that this is believable, even though they didn't go and get them lashes because there isn't two witnesses, but they feel there's what to worry about here, then they should take measures to separate them, to keep them away from each other, right? You do what do you call it, a PFA or whatever. Okay, so that is, we said that, okay, chutz, this is now continues the mechaber. Chutz me eishes ish. Besides for the wife of a man's wife, right? Which is one of the arayis. She'asad li'yisyachadima, that it is in fact true that it is prohibited, biblically even, to be alone with her, to be secluded with her. But im nisyachid ein loikin. If they were together, she doesn't get lashes. So it's not to put out a name on her, like a rumor or whatever on her that she was unfaithful. V'nimtza, because then it comes out, you're bringing out a rumor about her children, shehem mamzerim, right? They're mamzerim, which mamzer, even though it doesn't mean the same thing. It's often translated as a bastard, but it's not. But it doesn't mean the same thing as English bastard, because, for example, depending on historically when and where and whatever, that could just mean somebody born out of wedlock they call a bastard, right? Whereas this is not in halacha, a child born out of wedlock is not a mamzer. It's specifically a child born out of the aroyis, right? So it's specifically a case of incest, And again, not incest according to what do you call it? Incest according to the Torah. Because going again back to American culture, right? Because you can go to European culture in the medieval times, where a bastard is any kid born out of wedlock. And not only that, it's any kid born out who wasn't married by the Catholic Church or whatever. There's a whole how they
unrecognized wedlock, right?
All right, and whereas also this, for example, in American culture, marriage of a cousin is now the pashtus nowadays that's very uncommon, just because as we know, there's a lot of in fact, there's a whole very accepted movement and organization that does testing to make sure people don't have genes that are an issue with each other, and obviously
genetic problems, right?
But the halacha, there's no problem to first cousins getting married.
Right.
But so we're talking about specifically those prohibited relationships in the Torah, that those children that come out of those are mamzerim. So now one of those is a married woman, right? If another man slept with a married woman. So now, if you're going to give her lashes, it's like you publicize this thing, and they're going, it's like they say, she was misyachlis. What's it called? Her kids are probably mamzerim, and you don't want to put out that name on people. Chelkas mechekik. Well, let's first go to the Beis Shmuel, because he starts out first, because he talks about Hillel and Shammai. They decreed on being together with a non-Jew. I always find it interesting when sometimes I wonder if they had a different print thing. Because, for example, the Beis Shmuel doesn't put Yichud Kusis, he puts Yichud Akum, right? There's servers of stars in the constellations. In either case, so he's explaining, so why did they have to be this Gzera, right? Hillel and Shammai came after David. So he's saying because when David made his decree of a woman who's a seclusion with an available woman, his decree did not include a non-Jewish woman. Why? So the question is, wait a second. So why did David make a gzeira on that and not make a gzeira on that? Because on a Jewish daughter, it's fitting. It's more fitting to make a decree. Why? Because it's there is what to worry that maybe he's being secluded with a forbidden relationship. I guess it's almost like a fence that he shouldn't come to, right? That offense that you shouldn't be even with an available woman, that you shouldn't come then to be secluded with a non-available woman. Then it's in the Prisha. So now let's go to the Chalkas Mechekik. Makin es Shneihem Makas Mardus. You smack both of them with lashes, with court ordained lashes. The Tur Kasav, and the Tur he writes, Malkin say, we give him Malkus, we give him lashes. Aval he loy nifsila im nisyachta im apesel b'viyasi. Ad kan l'sheni. So even though they get lashes, but she does not become puzzle, right? If she was together with somebody who had relations, would make her puzzle. Right? There's certain relationships that change, that it's not just they had a relationship, naughty boy, naughty girl, but it actually changes the status of a person.
Puzzle kahuna?
Could be. I guess that's what he's talking about, but yeah, I guess psul the kahuna. So there's different relationships.
What else?
There's different relationships that make a woman, so no longer she can't marry a Kain anymore.
I'm saying just once. Any woman stopped sleeping with a bunch of people could be considered maybe a Zaina, and that would make her
Right.
possible
No,
Kohen.
but just
But we're
once.
saying this
Yeah.
is even just a one-off that could make
If
her
one time
instant
right.
Sula Kohen.
Well, I mean, let's use another. There's another possible example. Let's say a Kain Gadol. If she wants to marry a Kain Gadol, if she slept with anybody once,
it's anybody, right? No, but here he's saying
anybody once.
said,
if she's not an absolute virgin, she cannot be with a Kain Gadol. So in this case,
here it says,
in this case, let's say any girl with any guy,
right?
And they were secluded together. So we'll give them lashes. However, this girl she still retains her virgin status. She can still get married to the Kohen Gadol, to the high priest.
Yes, but it does not imply relations. Yeah,
right. Meaning the fact that they get lashes, it does not mean that we say they had relations.
Treating them like
right. It's no. You're getting lashes because you were secluded together. We're not saying you were together. And which kind of lines up with what we said before, with what the Mechaber said about the wife of a, that's why we're careful by the wife of a man to not that we don't give her lashes, so they shouldn't say that the children are, because we're not we have no proof of doing anything, but you're not allowed to be secluded. That itself is the Isser. That's what you're getting lashes for. Ad kan l'sheni. And the other case would be like you're saying, like anything that would make her a chalala, that would make her no longer
fit to marry claim.
Yeah. And this is what we say in Kedushin, Daf Pei Aleph Omid Aleph, right? Which this was the Gemara we were just looking at before. Ein oisidin ala yichud, that a woman just that when she's secluded, even though it's a prohibition, she does not become usher, right? She does not become prohibited based on this. Meaning again, same thing. We don't. This is no proof that she had any relationship with him, or that she actually slept with him. Lefi Pirsha Teisvis Sham B'dibra Maskel Malkin in the Teisvis there in the one titled that they get lashes. The Beisesif Khan, and the Beisesif brings it here as well. Says the Beis Shmuel on the same thing. Yichud Makin as Shneya Makas Madus, that we give them both lashes. Aval in Oisrim as Eishes Ish al Bailo. So he's saying the same thing, but he's specifying more. This is an obvious one that we forgot that we didn't think about. What happens when the wife of a man sleeps with another man? She becomes usher to her husband. She's no longer allowed to be with her husband. She becomes automatically prohibited onto him.
Right.
So now this woman, right? She was secluded with another man. Okay, so she gets lashes, he gets lashes, but she's still permitted to her husband. Veloy penuya al kayin, right? And an available woman that's what's it called, to a kayin also. Ayin Teisvis, and see the Teisvis in Kedushin, that Teisvis goes more into it. Chelkas mechikikum achrizin aleihen, and we're machriz on them. We announce the Turlei Kos of Kruz Zeh in the Tur. He does not talk about this announcing the warning that whatever it is. The Kedushin Sham, and in Kedushin there in that Gemara, Mefarish Rashi explains the Koi al Eishes Ish. that Rashi there says that it's talking about a married woman. And not only that, he doesn't here. What is the implication right away when you machrizen that you announce on them? It sounds like you're giving them a warning, like shame on shame be on the one who secludes or something like this, right? Rashi says it's the other way around. It's for her benefit. It's talking about a man's wife, and it's for her benefit. And shaloi zinsa, right? That she was not unfaithful. So I guess there's opinions that she does get lashes, even though here we see the Mechaber says she doesn't get lashes. So we announced that we're giving this woman lashes. It's not because she was unfaithful. It's only because she was secluded with another man. Why? I guess the same reason. The machrizn is for a benefit, so that people should know that she's not an unfaithful woman and her children are not mamzerim. So that's according to Rashi what they announce. And I guess according to Rashi, then she actually does get malchus. V'hinei kol loshen hasif hazeh shel Rabbi Tzvi u'muatok mamish loshen Rambam. This whole seif, the Rav, the Beis Yosef, the Mechaber, he copied it. It's the exact wording. What's it called? Verbatim from the Rambam. Hatzvi-Bais. Mehilchis, what is it? Mehilchis something. Which halach is this? Din Gimel. Mashma and the implication of how he arranged his words implies that he holds not like Rashi. But rather the announcement applies to the non-married woman who's secluded with somebody not allowed to. And also for a benefit. So this is interesting. This flips the whole thing on its head. Because the Chalkim L'Chekik says that it's not, because what it sounds like when you first read it is like they're machers on her, like they warn her or something like this. No, we're announcing also for her benefit. We're saying that we're giving her lashes, meaning what? First of all, he holds the married woman doesn't get lashes. And so there's no reason to be machers. Why do you need to announce? There's no lashes. Who gets lashes? The available woman gets lashes. But remember, the available woman, right? This is not like the same like an ish that would get that could get killed for this thing, right? But rather, so she's getting lashes. People might think, she's getting lashes because it's true. So that's why they have to be machis to make sure people know that no, this is only for yichud. Right?
I'm getting called away to another shir at my Wednesday morning, 11 o'clock.
Fine, good. So we will continue. We'll continue from here on the next one. Fine, good. Yashir. Let me see here. How do I make you the?
Please end the meeting. We can restart the new one.
Chaim, you're the host already, I think.
Let me see.
I think you automatically took host when you what's it called?
Yep, I'm hosted. Yeah.
Okay, and you changed the
I'm gonna change it now.
Okay, good. Beautiful.
Change it right now. Up to the new Mishnah.
Okay, here are cups.
Thank you very much.
Some orange juice.
All juice, orange juice, white juice, yellow juice.
Yep. Are you a Jew?
Talking about an old shul which was destroyed, which is in ruins now.
My goodness. Is it the core
There's many shuls like that.
of
A shul in ruins.
I got a supposed invitation from my cousin, Facebook, except that I'm already Facebook friends with them.
Okay, we'll start off with Tehillim and
So I think it may be a fake account.
very good.
We have to award it.
Okay. Let's back to the meeting. Okay, Yossi, Manishma, Boker Tov.
Boker Tov, bye-bye.
Hi, we're good to have you back.
Good to see you.
Glock 19, Zeh Beseder. מאוד מאוד בסדר. Every Jew at 22. It goes together. The Beis Hamikdash and Glock 19. If you don't have one, you can't protect the other.
Well, my 22 is Hershel.
22 letters of the Aleph base.
Oh, I thought you meant a 22 like caliber or something.
That too. Okay, we'll start off with the Tehillim. We're going to talk a little bit about the Kotel today. We'll get into that in the Gemara. Lam natsayach mizmor l'David yancha nebiyam sarai segev chashim ela Yaakov yishach hasacham mikodesh mitzion nisadaka eskakom chasach avad las kodesh nasala itin chachav v'chav chalat sascha yimalein ranam shu sacha v'shem eleinu nidol mali adinai kol mishal sacha ati yadati yisha adinai meshicha yanei mishmekal joy goyes yisha yaminei elo v'rechav elo asusum nachnu m'shem adinai eleinu naskir hema karu v'nafalo v'nachnu kamnu v'nisadad adinai yeshi amalech yaneinu v'yayim kareinu. And chapter 150, Tehillim for the schus of all the Jews in Eretz Yisrael and all over the world, and for Rosa Bela Bas Yamit, wherever else needs a refuah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Al-Bakacha, hallelujah, B'ki Al-Uzay, hallelujah, B'ki B'raisav, hallelujah, B'ki B'gudlai, hallelujah, B'sek HaShoifar, hallelujah, B'nei B'chinar, hallelujah, B'sek HaMachal, hallelujah, B'minu V'ugav, hallelujah, B'sos Leisham, hallelujah, B'sos Leishru, HaKoil HaNeshamat, hallelujah, hallelujah. Go to the Gemara. So we have the pushkaf, everyone has tzedakah.
Yeah.
Some coins over here. You need. No. I had the opportunity.